Hey, welcome everybody to the Schedule Podcast. I am Carlos Gomez. And with us this week, we're going to be talking about Adobe Max and all that good stuff.
To the max.
And to help talk about Adobe Max, I am introducing my new homie, Jeff, from Mind One TV.
Hey, what is going on, guys? What is up, internets?
Live studio audience is here. Yes.
I like that. I like that.
Excited to see you, Jeff, man. You yelling out.
That's probably the most applause I've ever had in my entire life.
So we're gonna talk about why people don't applaud for Jeff more. But before we get to that, let's introduce Charlie B. Williams III.
Hey, what's up, Sketch Donation? It's another week. We're back. I was really excited to be on this week because I contacted everybody on the team yesterday as if I was ready to go yesterday at this time.
24 hours early.
And I was like, yeah. And Jack was like, legit, it's not right now. I was like, and I didn't even say, I don't know if you guys noticed in the chat, I sat there for a good 20 minutes feeling dumb as hell. I mean, I've been moving children into bed. I was doing a bunch of things yesterday to get here on time.
You went way out of your way to
and
nowhere.
I just felt exhausted for the rest of the night.
I felt bad too. I was like, oh, poor Charlie.
All he said was, "I got you." It was like a pat on the back. I was like, whatever. I don't talk about it anymore.
Oh, hey, we got Jack Kasperzak.
I know. This is weird. We need a studio space so we can all be in the same spot.
I know.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So we're going to talk about why I'm basically sitting on Jack's lap right now.
Yeah, that made it awkward.
What?
You still got the sound. God.
We're
Jesus.
Oh, nice.
Man, he's got him too.
Hey,
we're off.
yes, the battle of the soundboards. Hey, Carlos, you're at Jack's place. Please find out what that special sound is. Just check it out. Remember, he has some kind of crazy sound that Jack hasn't played yet.
Oh yeah, I know.
You're there.
I wish I could. He's got so many things happening right now. I can't even read that fast.
You feel intimidated? I figured.
Instagram, sketch on Instagram, so we can do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Look at this. Both of them look completely dumbfounded right now.
So let's go ahead.
It's like the two worlds have matched together in one room. So now there's all type of stuff happening on Jack's computer, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Normally we got stuff separated out and we're running around like chefs in the kitchen.
All right. So it's time for.
No, you gotta wait till that when we announce it. Let's talk about the last one.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah. Let's do it.
New one.
All
Got
right.
a new one, right?
You would think we did this 122 other times.
Because Jack wants his audio just right, so he waits for keywords.
See, now I'm on the spot. We got an audio competitor.
So now we're doing.
Yeah.
We're showing first.
Yeah.
So last week, if you remember, we had a bit of a hiccup. So you could either draw an island full of dragons or a dragon full of dragons.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I took it upon myself to draw. There you go.
So we had.
I took it upon myself to draw a dragon full of dragons on an island full of dragons.
On an island. You took it there.
You just got them all.
Like some
Every point hit.
And then, of course, my own personal hero, Shiloh,
wrecked it, right?
just crushed.
Has he got anybody eating
Holy
dragon?
cow.
Did he do both, or he just did an island full of dragons?
He did the original.
Just did
the original OG.
Yeah.
See, I thought he was gonna do the other one when he laughed about it in chat.
And even though I had 2 weeks, I did not partake.
Yo, hey Jack, how's your Inktober?
Don't feel bad. Don't feel
Inktober
bad,
is
'cause
kicking my ass.
Don't feel bad because neither did Dave Atsy.
Oh, hey, Dave didn't do it?
Neither did me.
Dragon Inception.
Well, you know what?
Nice.
We're asking a lot of people now with the front prompts. I think we'll be okay after as we keep doing it. But think about this. This is the time with Inktober where shit gets real.
Yeah.
These last 2 weeks, you know, you're running out of ideas.
And if you're still going at this point, Inktober.
Hey Jeff, have you heard anything about Inktober or anything?
No, not really.
No.
Oh,
Basically a month-long challenge that drives people crazy.
Nice. To me, it makes me think of tattoos, but I'm assuming that it's more illustrations and sketches and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One drawing, one ink
I mean,
drawing every
Inktober to me sounds like get a tattoo every day for the days of October.
Get your sleeve done in one month.
All the tattoo shops right now are like,
That might work.
Yeah, right. Can't find a spot anymore.
Yeah, so then there's that. So I guess now it's time for the new one. So
let's go to the canvas here and let's get started. Every day's a good day when you paint.
I still don't know the words.
You had it right.
You had it right, yeah.
You paint.
I love both of you guys in the same room every time we do this.
It's like a weird radio show, brother radio show.
It's so good when both of you guys. One of these times we're going to have to do one when I'm out there. It'll be, I don't know if we'll get anything done.
All right,
let's see.
You're going to have him pick a number?
Yeah. So the way that this works is I have the official Sketch Zone random drawing cards brought to you by Cards Against Humanity. No,
yeah, they're not paying us.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle these up, place them ever so gently upon my tabletop.
Jack's tabletop.
Careful.
Jack's tabletop.
Yours today.
Don't scratch.
Today.
Yours today. So my friend Jack, pick a number between 1 and 5, please.
Let's go with 3.
Ooh,
Good old menage.
3 is such a regal number. I don't know what that means.
We're drawing an object.
Okay.
All right, so let's see.
On the rule.
Yes. While that is shuffling, the rule is we can read the first one. If the first one is good, we draw it. If we don't like it, we draw again, or we randomize again, and we're stuck with it no matter what.
You have to use that one.
Oh, right on.
How
Okay.
bad it
That
really
is unless I type it wrong in the chat box.
And then it
Then
Something else entirely.
extra randomness it happens when Jack misspells stuff.
All right, so the first one is a futuristic mechanical war machine.
There you go. People love that stuff.
Let's try the second one. Let's try the second one, guys.
What?
Basically, do we want to draw like the Costa?
Let's try the second one. Let's try it. I feel like it's
I mean, I'm a fan of the futuristic war machine. That's kind of a dope concept.
Are we good?
I'm good.
Yeah, we're good this week.
I mean, I'm just the guest, though. You know, I mean, I'm just the guest, so you know.
What?
I said Charlie's talking like he chips in.
I don't. I'm just trying to make it hard. I was wondering when anybody was going to pick up on that every week.
All right.
I'm like, yeah. Don't do it at all.
Oh, the second one was probably for me a little better, but
Since we're not doing it, can you say the second one, or is that not allowed?
second one,
Yeah.
what was it? It was a worn down teddy bear. But
The war machine could have been a teddy bear.
it just got wore out. She was walking the streets.
Excuse me?
Yeah, right. Where are we going with this? I don't know.
You gotta
I need
watch
an
Carlos.
adult.
His mind wanders real quick.
I need
Yeah.
somebody
Hey,
supply me with an
Obviously, if you're watching live, you can ask us any questions on the chat panel.
Oh yeah.
Or, that's right, folks. You can use the Sketch Zone hotline. It's 408-753-48. If you're calling internationally, 011-408-753-8248. Operators are standing by, and that's happening. That works
when we're not even recording. So if you want to give us,
just talk to us.
If you have questions or whatever, go ahead and send them on over. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hey, real quick, I wanted to talk about who's going to line up to buy an iPhone tonight.
Oh, is that happening tonight or tomorrow?
Because I guess it's not us.
Not me.
Pre-orders happen tonight, midnight, 12:01, I believe.
Are you?
Otherwise, we're missing out.
Are you, Carlos?
Hail to the top. Carlos is unemployed.
I know one person buying it. That's it.
I want one, but I can't. Let's not talk about it.
$1,000.
I can't justify.
Yeah, no. I mean, are you talking about the 8 or are you talking about the 10? There,
I'm talking about the
Charlie.
big one. I'm talking about the big one, man.
Yeah,
I want all the. All the things.
If I may ask a question, like why? Just why?
So you can have face detection for your selfies.
No, I want all the AR. I want the AR. I want the camera and the new tool sets. I do AR development and VR and all that good stuff. So I want
okay.
stuff.
That's a legit answer. I respect that answer.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in this. So I want the new stuff.
Take pictures of the food I just ate.
Yeah, I do that anyway. But at work, I would start to put all type of stuff on that thing. Yeah, because we can do iOS development too. So I can't wait to be standing in line at the store while they're unlocking the phone with their face and it doesn't work, and that's what we're going to be doing basically. And listen, I'm an Apple guy, so I'm not hating. I've got a Mac Pro and a MacBook Pro, and I've got an iPhone, so I'm an Apple guy. But damn, that's not the only Apple product I'll have. Maybe the iPad Pro, which I've seen some cool stuff.
I got one of those.
We'll talk about in a second.
Yeah, those are dope, dude.
Come back to that. You'll like this, Carlos. But yeah, I need a new phone too. It's been a while. I'm due for an upgrade. I didn't get the upgrade last time, so it's been a good 3 4 years, 2 3 years or something like that.
Yeah, me too.
Because I only have, this one, which is I don't know which one.
That narrows it all the way down.
6.
That's
6. 1 or 7. I don't know what it is.
Charlie holds up a black screen.
Razor.
This is the one I have. Oh, yeah.
You can't tell? What kind of Apple fanboy are you, Carlos? You should be able to tell me what the make and model of this thing is.
I can see it's an Apple. That could have been
Yeah, we're not gonna do no weird Android ice cream BS sandwich, whatever.
Speaking of VR,
hey, let's talk on it. Are you eating it? What are we doing here?
Yeah, what are we doing with this? This is like jelly bean train wreck. I don't want it. I don't want it. No.
Android phones just make me feel diabetic. That's about it.
Right. And then they make you feel diabetic and then angry, right? When they don't work.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Now, if they get their crap together, right, and they integrate and they have one OS, I think then Apple has a problem because they have a big install base. It's just luckily everybody's running around with their heads cut off and no one has a good version of what. And if you your burner Android version,
yeah, right,
from your low budget phone provider, you know what I'm talking about out there.
While we're talking about new stuff, Adobe has basically reset everyone's trial periods for everything Creative Cloud.
Gotcha, bitch.
So gotcha.
I love it.
So if you are one of them cheap bastards still rocking, iPhone or Photoshop 6, you can go get.
I love how Carlos is trying to keep it together right now. He's trying to keep it serious. Everybody else is just dying.
It's not helping that he's right here. I can't hide anything at all. You can see me picking which sound I'm going to use. It doesn't.
Man, y'all are stupid.
Yeah, if you guys go, if you're hesitant as far as trying Adobe products out, we're gonna get into it in a little bit. But yeah, you can go get refreshed trial periods.
Refreshed trial. I get what you mean.
For how long?
They Febreezed the trial periods. They're all nice and refreshed.
They won't start smelling until a month from now.
I know, these are some good show titles.
Yo, so when how long do you get?
These zingers, Charlie, you're fired.
Shut up. Shut up, Carlos.
Dang.
See, Jeff, I get no love.
Charlie, love you.
I get no love at all.
So yeah, I think that's it as far as that stuff.
But how long is the trial period?
What is it?
I think they're a month.
Isn't it like 30 days or something like that?
Yeah, I
They
think
give
it's
you
a
like
month.
a 90-day thing then? So another 30 days on top of the trial?
No, just like you
90 days.
get a new one now. If you use your
Yeah.
3 days, you get a new one.
If you didn't.
The one thing I don't understand, and Carlos, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but when they introduced, and I'm sure we'll talk about this later, but when they introduced the new Lightroom CC, I thought that was included in the big pack. And I'm on a trial and I've got to buy it separate now. And I own the whole Creative Cloud. I own a team license, but I don't understand why it's still a trial.
That's strange.
They're making you pay for Lightroom and Creative Cloud?
Yeah, I have to right now because right now, so at my job, we have 5 licenses under the team. And so I went to, immediately as soon as I got back, I was like, I'm trying this new Lightroom. And there was no option for me just to install it. It was try or buy, and that was it.
Yo, let me check my Creative.
And it didn't let you, because I have my own Creative Cloud license, and I was able to download CC.
About to see if mine.
With no issues.
I wonder if it has something to do with just teams then, maybe.
I hope not. I think I have the same type of thing. We have a bigger team, but I want to know.
Yeah, now that we're talking about that, Jeff, do you mind sharing where you live?
No. I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Whoa, back up.
He was saving that one.
North or south side of the city? Where you at?
North. North.
Are you from Fort Wayne?
Yes, sir.
Wow. I'm from Fort Wayne, born and
There's
raised.
not much more than corn in Indiana.
Wow.
What's that? You're from Fort Wayne as well?
Born and raised. Went to Concordia High School. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, you're one of those guys. All right, I gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, parents put me in there last 2 years, nothing I can do about it. Whatever.
Right on. I graduated from Northrop.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna give me crap about you went to the big huge football school.
Yep.
You out there battling Snyder. Wow, you from Fort Wayne? That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew I liked you.
That's awesome. I met Jeff right before the Adobe keynote, and so we got to talk. And I was like, "Where are you from?" He said, "Fort Wayne." I was like, "Oh, I know there's more than just one family there, but there's just Charlie B. Williams III right on here."
Mm-hmm.
So
I do remember you saying that. That's funny.
That's awesome. That's cool.
With a name like that, he might have been the king of Fort Wayne.
Well, people still argue that back now, Jack. No, that's cool. That is awesome.
And what do you do, Jeff?
Right now, my day job as a nerd, I design websites, do graphic design, produce videos, take pictures. We've got a small marketing team, and we oversee about 11 companies. And then by night, I stream, and then I get really cool on the weekend because I DJ. So do it all.
Nice. Where are you DJing at?
Fort Wayne.
There's a club here called it's called Early Birds. I've got a residency there, and I stream it every Saturday night as well.
Nice.
You stream your DJ sets on Twitch?
Yeah. Yep. They've got a whole creative section now, so it's allowed.
Oh, they let you do it at the club? Cool.
Yeah, I mean, they don't let me. I told them I was doing it.
Nice. And then it's like, it's gonna bring you more money. Just let me do it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
We have fun. We have a good time.
Cool.
Nice. So yeah, so Jeff and I met at the at Adobe Max at the keynote.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think, Jeff?
Man, I was kind of blown away, to be honest with you. That was my first Max, and I didn't really know what to expect. There was one point of disappointment, which we talked about the whole time we were there, and that was just the lack of After Effects stuff. But on a whole, it was just, holy cow, man. It was so good. I mean, geez, the stuff they did in Photoshop, and again, I know we'll probably get into it more, but the stuff they were showing just on that first day, it was insane what they can do now. It's just incredible.
Yeah, the whole setup was basically you walked into this huge room and it was wall-to-wall screen.
Yeah, 3 football fields.
Yeah. And the visuals were so sharp. And it was almost optical overload.
What the LCD?
Yeah, it was incredible.
What's funny is they had special effects happening, so they had smoke everywhere. Meanwhile, my house was under threat of fire. I was like, too soon.
Yeah. Carlos is in there rattling off Sonoma jokes, and I was like, well, I'm like looking over my shoulder, like,
Was it LED?
No, it was projection, all projection mapping. It was sick.
No, the screens though. Oh, really?
Yeah,
yeah. Where did they hide the projectors?
No, they didn't hide them.
Oh, yeah, okay. Because I'm gonna say, I was like,
yeah, no. I don't know if you guys are into projection or projection mapping. It was one hell of a setup. I mean, Jesus.
We do that at work in my job too. So yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
So if you look at Jeff's jacket or my hoodie, it says whatever it says. It says like Adobe Max. Yeah.
That doesn't look like it says anything.
Yeah.
Jones Alien stuff.
It says Max 2016.
That one.
Something. So imagine that.
Actually, if you import that image into Google, it plays dubstep. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So imagine it saying Adobe Max or whatever the hell it said, but like these shapes were actually cutouts that were coming onto the wall, and then they were projecting on top of that. So then all the smoke was actually going in between these shapes that were actually there.
Well, not actually there.
Yeah, it was sick.
No, they were actually there.
The shapes were actually there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're projecting mapping onto pieces onto our back.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, it was sick.
And
it melted right in with the main image.
We're sorry, but just take a look at do a Google search for Adobe Max hoodie, and you'll see what we're talking about, the shapes that are happening there. And Jeff, I don't know if you knew this, but Adobe Max hoodie has a Twitter handle.
Yeah, I do. Yep. Yeah, I think it's like they started it like 2 years ago.
Yeah, Adobe Max hoodie talks about how shitty of a gift it is.
Yeah. Can you imagine the first people that got the hoodie at the Max, like they were expecting a Surface or an iPad or a phone or something, and they were like, and here's your hoodie.
Folks at Adobe are like, they're gonna love it.
You're gonna love it. Revolutionized hoodies.
They should have stuck like an iPad inside of it.
So they did a lot of like UI improvements. One of the first announcements that they talked about was Illustrator, and they talked about how they have a cleaner interface in Illustrator. If you work in that ever, you basically end up having every single panel open, and then you can't find any of them.
Yes.
So they kind of cleaned that up a little bit.
Have you got a chance to use it yet, Carlos? Have you used any of the new stuff?
Yeah. I work on this stuff all the time. I was designing some T-shirts and stuff. Oh, by the way, if you go to coconutjustice.threadless.com, you'll see what we're talking about. But yeah, that
properties panel on the right-hand side really does help a lot. You can do a lot of changes with the text and just like different, you can change the font, you can change the thickness of the shapes, outline and stuff like that. It helps. It helps clean up a little bit. But then I ended up opening up about 47 panels anyway, so. Do you use Illustrator and Photoshop a lot?
Yeah, I use it all the time. I was in it, every day.
Yeah.
From designing print stuff, website design, and then I do a lot of like titling and logo design, all on Photoshop and Illustrator. And Photoshop, I haven't seen too much of the changes yet, but Illustrator, I definitely noticed that properties panel that was contextual. Yeah. So like whatever you were clicking on, it was changing, and it was giving you those options. I thought that was kind of cool. It's gonna take a little bit to get used to, but it was definitely kind of cool.
Yeah, I liked it. What else? They talked about changes to fonts, type capture, which is basically, they already had something like this in Photoshop, where you basically show the program a font, an image of a font, and it'll tell you what's available, whether it's the exact font or something that's very similar to it. So they're starting to get into this software learning stuff, which they call, they have this AI, Adobe's AI system is called Sensei.
Yeah, they can't call it AI because they already got that.
I'm sorry.
It happens every time. We were sitting there and they kept talking Adobe Sensei, and Jeff kept doing this.
Hi. Well, the dude that was presenting was kind of, he had that kind of a Asian vibe going on. So without, but every time he would say something, it would just make, it's like Mr. Miyagi. Hey. we even did wax on, wax off, and the paintbrush thing. Even, I mean, it's come on. We knew kung fu at the end of the thing.
Yes, we did. So yeah, those were the updates. Oh, Illustrator also got Puppet Warp, which they basically brought over from After Effects.
That's super sick too.
Okay. So did they come out with that font tool?
Huh?
Did they come out with that font tool they showed like last year? It was amazing.
Yeah, they have that in Photoshop. Now they brought it over to Illustrator.
The font tool, like that one tool that video we watched last year, where it was like building your own font, and like it was. Yeah.
Oh,
it was running on the iPad though.
They had stuff like that too.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't on like the PC. I was like, why don't you just put this on a desktop? But it was running on the iPad or something called something. I can't remember what it's called.
I'm trying to remember.
This font tool was amazing.
I saw, so what I know for sure is that they had font recognition.
Okay.
Yep.
But I'm trying to remember which.
That was built into Photoshop.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which application I saw that was actually letting you.
That was Illustrator.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
It was actually letting you change the serifs, and if you want to do thicker.
So there's two different situations with that. So the one that they showed on during the keynote was more of that was more customizing your own font, changing, like you were just saying, the thickness, the serifs, the italicization, all that kind of stuff. But then also there are new fonts now that are open type fonts that are variable fonts, and it gives you a whole nother set of conditions to control within that contextual menu, which is pretty dope too.
Oh man. Oh, it wasn't last year. It was
probably about 3 years ago. Yeah.
2 years ago. Oh man.
We talked about it on the show when they
this one.
That was probably 2 years ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Then they moved into Adobe Stock, which again, this Sensei is actually letting you, their search is becoming way more robust. So if you wanted to do a search for a flower, or actually they used, I think, a penguin as an example, you can actually tell Adobe Stock, I need a shallower depth of field, and it'll actually go and find that.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, there's like sliders and stuff that you can adjust the different parameters of your search. Depth of field, brightness.
If the
there was
is looking to the left or to the right.
Yeah, it was sick. It was stupid sick.
It was bananas.
That is just stuff.
So I'm looking at my Creative Cloud, and from the stuff that's new, maybe you guys can tell me, because I have questions. I don't, because I can't tell which one's totally new. But like, what's XD?
That's the experience design.
That's design.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's still an infant program. They just really got it out of beta on Tuesday when we were there. But basically, it's I would say it's like to put it in simple terms, it's an assembly program. So you design all your assets in Illustrator and Photoshop, and then you assemble everything in XD. Right now, it's geared more towards websites and like mobile apps. But I talked to the developer while I was there because it looks so fast and looks so convenient that I want to use it for other things.
Yeah.
And so I asked him, hey, we do a lot of print stuff too, and I hate InDesign. I despise it. And I was like, is there any way that, we'll be able to do that with XD? And he said, yeah, they want to basically, take out Microsoft freaking Keynote and PowerPoint, and you'll be able to build all these things inside of XD. And then they're gonna move to print too. So
like a presentation tool then.
Yeah, it's gonna have all sorts of stuff, and it's really fast. I mean, it's really fast.
And then he punched the InDesign designer who was right next to him.
Actually, sitting right next to us, I had Jeff on one side and another guy who was he does presentations for Adobe. He doesn't necessarily work for Adobe. He's on Twitter under and Instagram under Bring Your Own Laptop, and he was excited to talk about Dreamweaver, and I said, "Yeah, it's
I wasn't.
been a long time since I worked at Dreamweaver." He goes, "Literally everyone says that," and then he told me, "Give it a chance."
It's not actually that bad if you take out the visual stuff. Like if you just take it down to the basic code view, it actually is okay. I'd still use other tools, but when I do some coding, there are times I open Dreamweaver and I just put it in that code view and it works well.
Yeah. The only complaint, I like using Dreamweaver. If I have to code anything, I use Dreamweaver. There's a lot of convenient things in there, like posting your files via FTP and stuff like that. The only thing is, when you launch Dreamweaver, why does it take 45 minutes to load?
Because it's got to load all the easy button tools, man.
I know.
It's weaving dreams.
That Lightroom CC, I have the same thing, but then it says that Lightroom Classic CC, formerly Lightroom CC, and then which is you can install, but then Lightroom CC,
which is the new one
under trial apps. Is it not really ready for prime time?
Apparently, it's not for teams, I guess, because when they were announcing it, when they were talking about it, I was pretty sure they said that, you know how they do it, and this is included in your Creative Cloud subscription.
I have it. I haven't had any problem.
Yeah, and I'm on a team thing too.
This is the first time I've opened it. I don't have any images in it.
Still thinking.
But the cool thing...
Yeah, because I see
We're going to talk about that later, so I'm not even going to go down that path. We can talk.
I wonder if it has something to do with the storage, but yeah.
So then the next thing they talked about was Photoshop Sketch. If you don't know, it's basically Photoshop on the iPad. No, it's the drawing functionality of Photoshop.
So it's like it's just trying to be
manipulation or anything like that in there, but you can draw.
Create, right?
And one of the cool things that they're talking about, you kind of already do this, but they're talking about being able to bring in Photoshop brushes. And then they also added, when the update comes out, I don't know if it has come out yet. I haven't played with my iPad all that much lately, but when it does come out, there's going to have like process videos. So it's going to be automatically recording your process as you draw.
That's pretty cool.
And then I wrote down here, pen curvature tool. I don't remember what that was, but I wrote it down.
So they're trying to be like Procreate?
No.
You sure? It doesn't have to be Procreate, but they're trying to align itself.
They want to, but Photoshop Sketch is nowhere near as
robust
a tool as Procreate is.
Yeah, it's
is it like, would you even use it?
Yeah.
As an idea pad, probably. I think maybe. I guess I don't know.
Can you easily take stuff out of it and put it into other things? Like
if you remember when we had Mike Henry on, he talked about drawing in Photoshop Sketch.
Oh,
because he liked the pencil better, and so do I. Their pencil, the way that it looks real cool. And then what he does is he gets out of there and he goes into Procreate.
Okay. He uses a drawing tool.
I just want them to make Photoshop on the damn iPad. Why can't they just put the whole program in there? Jesus.
They're working on it, I bet you.
Yeah.
I bet you. So yeah, so that was Photoshop Sketch, which then brings us to Photoshop. And these are some of the tools that they talked about that were really cool. And I'm actually really excited. And right when I updated everything, I did a video and I tagged Sketchbot. Steve
Sikowski.
Yeah, I tagged him in it because he's been complaining about this since the day we met. Photoshop CC will officially have the symmetry tool.
Yes. Except for he wants it in Procreate.
Except now he wants it.
Oh no, really?
Funny thing is, I did the video of using this tool, the symmetry tool, and then I posted it on Instagram. And Steve writes, "Finally." No, woohoo, no, nothing.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, so they got the symmetry tool. And then they had, do you guys know, if I say Lazy Nazumi, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we used it on, I used it on that special show we had on that Saturday.
Yeah.
I like that. I was using it for a while.
Basically, it's brush smoothing.
Mm-hmm.
And
make a mistake. Mm-hmm.
If your hand is jittery and all kinds of crazy, you're nervous, maybe you're hanging out with your new friend Jeff and you're trying to show your drawing skills, but your line is a little wiggly because you're nervous. Basically, this is basically, imagine where your stylus is and where the actual brush mark is happening. Your stylus is connected by a virtual chain. So when you drag it around, when you drag the brush around, there's a delay to it. So it kind of smooths out those jittery.
It's actually pretty useful. It takes a little bit to get used to, but I've used it in other programs, especially on the iPad, because I've got a 9.7 iPad Pro. And so it's kind of small. And, you know, you definitely notice those jitters when you're trying to do sketches and stuff, or just trying to do small or sweeping strokes and whatnot. But that tool in Photoshop is going to be really handy.
Yeah, we had tools like that for a long time in like ZBrush. when
Yeah.
sculpting and stuff. So we call it the Lazy Mouse. So it's good.
Lazy Mouse. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Sketchbook Pro has it.
Yeah.
Procreate has it.
Affinity Photo has it. Yeah.
So
You're late there, Photoshop.
Adobe is like the Apple of the design world.
they wait for everyone to figure it
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Then they're like, oh, this is amazing.
Speaking of which, there's this tool that I was using. One of the things about Max this year is I realized that I spent a bunch of money on some plugins and stuff, and then Adobe decided to make me realize that I just wasted a bunch of money because they introduced everything I bought.
But they gave you a new free trial period.
Oh no, they got me a new hoodie.
Oh, that's right.
Make everything okay.
So there's a new brush panel, and it's pretty cool because in Photoshop now you can sort your brushes, but you have to go in there and drag it in place, and then you don't really know what's going on. Now the brush panel actually has folders.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's right.
I have a ton of brushes that I bought. More on that in a second. I have a ton of brushes that I bought. So you can like drag it around and you can sort them, but you get lost a little bit.
Okay.
So to remedy that, I bought this thing called a plugin called Brushbox.
Oh.
And Brushbox lets you not only put your brushes in separate folders, label the folders, but it actually lets you like color code and do all this stuff, right? And you get a better feel for it. So I have a folder for pencils. I have a folder for inking brushes. I have a folder for other things, whatever it is. So Photoshop just realized that I spent my money, and they went and they basically did the same thing, except you can't really color code the folders, but you can still label the folders and drag your brushes into the separate folders.
Got him.
Yep.
Got him. Speaking of Photoshop brushes, the reason why I have so many brushes is because I bought the Mega Pack created by Kyle Webster. And if you guys remember, Kyle Webster, he's been on the show. He was on episode 33.
Way back when.
Way back
in the day.
And we talked about all his brushes and how wonderful they are and how passionate he is about making brushes. Well, Adobe realized that he's making a lot of money doing brushes, and his brushes killed anything that Adobe was doing, so they went ahead and hired him.
Gotcha, bitch.
They got me.
Got you.
They also checked to see if you bought it, Carlos. That's what it was.
Yeah,
They're like, oh, Carlos bought those brushes? Oh, okay, we'll just put them in the program then.
I'm telling you, so many times that throughout all of these announcements, I just kept hearing the money toilet.
Oh, he bought Brushbox? Oh yeah, we're gonna throw that in there too. Then why not?
So yeah, and then another smaller thing, like the brush will now adjust to when you zoom. So like before, if you were drawing something and you zoomed in, you'd have to then make the brush bigger and then keep going. Now you don't have to do that. It'll actually adjust to your
So
zoom.
it screens the size relative.
It screens this, yeah, relative to your zoom.
Interesting.
That's really nice, especially when you forget and your brush is huge when you zoom way in and you just it's a big black dot now.
Yeah, and then they talked about Adobe XD, which is like we just talked about, application design. They're making all of these things really super easy for you to just get in there and crank out some designs.
Yeah, I think they had like over 100 artboards open in XD, which in Photoshop and Illustrator would choke just about everyone's computer.
Yeah.
And it was just, I mean, I thought it was funny though because he was like lightning, and then his trackpad wasn't working. Remember when he did that demonstration? Yeah, it's like lightning. And then he started freaking out a bit. That was funny. You always got to laugh at the fails, right? I mean, it's
We got that one too. Good one though. I was like, man, Jack is good. I didn't even see his hand move.
It's like lightning.
I think Charlie's gonna like this one. They then announced that Project Felix is officially Adobe Dimension CC,
which is super sick.
It's pretty scary how.
What is this? I know nothing.
Oh, so Project Felix, or dare I say, Dimensions, is their entry into the 3D world.
3D for training wheels for designers.
So what they did is they had some designs ready. They opened up a new file. They created new bottles, and then they dropped those designs right onto the bottle, and then it mapped around the bottle, and then you can drop in some lighting. They had either set lighting, or you can set your own lighting.
It's like dumbed down Keyshot for designers.
Yeah,
it was really good. I mean, Carlos, did you take any of them? Did you take any of the courses with Dimension at all?
No.
My last course was the Intro to Dimension course.
Yeah.
And holy Jesus. It's, I mean, I can't do 3D. And I don't think it's meant to replace like Cinema 4D or Maya or anything like that. I think it's just meant mostly for like we use SolidWorks where I work, and so I came back immediately and I went to the guys and I was like, look, I need OBJ files for every piece of equipment that we have so that I can drop it in Dimension and just start throwing graphics on it.
Yeah,
it's literally like they got smart and stopped trying to shoehorn everything inside of Photoshop, the 3D system.
Yeah,
made its own standalone. We downloaded Felix last year. But it's literally for designers, and graphic designers and people that are not 3D. That allows them to get really quick product renderings out or concepts for product renderings.
Yeah,
I watched Adobe had like a live stream, and I was like disappointed in like whatever guy was showing it off, because he made a really ugly design where it looked like the lighting we used to do in like 04, like back when we were in college. He had like this really weird gold and purple, like it just didn't look nice. But I looked into it a little bit later in the evening when I got home. I was relieved to know that Adobe went out and partnered with V-Ray. So V-Ray is like powering their lighting and stuff like that. And then we talked about this company a lot on the show with Algorithmic. So you can import in Substance materials, which we know that Substance is a really cool procedural based materials, and they have 2 different programs, but you can go to the Substance Share, which is kind of like a online store, and get a bunch of texture maps and like, if you need like silver, if you need chrome, or if you need like terrain and you need a normal map for it, you can buy these little bundles, and they'll give you like the normal map, the ambient occlusion, the diffuse, so that like if you need to make like a little sandy, beach area, you can drag in a Substance file and be able to like then stick in your Corona bottle and whatever, light it and have a nice little 3D illustration. So let's call it a 3D illustration tool, with lighting and stuff like that. It's really cool.
That's a perfect.
It's a perfect explanation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's
different. Like, there's a lot of people that I'll do a design for, and you're trying to show them the label of whatever it is that their product is, but now you can actually throw it on some geometry, put that geometry in a scene, and actually show them this is what it looks like. And now, like, because it's incredible how many people don't have
the vision to see a file, a flat file in like a
Product label.
In a
Yeah,
product.
wrapped around a product. Yeah.
right.
I mean, there's definitely some gimmicky things about it, but
Yeah.
as with any kind of tool, you know, you're going to get people who are going to use it and just make garbage, and then you're going to get people who are going to use it and make really good stuff. I mean, it's if you stay away from the gimmicky things and really use your design sense, I think you can make some really nice looking presentations.
Yeah, I
but
think
it's not
so,
going to
too.
replace anything else, you know.
Yeah. No, definitely, but it's definitely for that graphic designer, that art director, that's at an agency that likes to incorporate more 3D type things in their style frames and their decks, and their presentation boards and stuff like that. You can definitely use it as a like I said, like style frame type tool, concept type tool, to make some cool 3D scenes, you know, in the 2D, you know, illustrations. So good job on them for improving. They did good jobs about getting Substance and V-Ray as their renderer so that like their lighting looks cool. I'm interested to see some of those top tier designs we see online on YouTube, what they'll make with it. Probably start.
One of the cool things that they had was if you have your geometry just sitting there, you have it all lit and everything looks really cool. You drop in a background scene, you can click a button and basically Adobe Sensei.
Hi. Sorry, I'm thinking.
There's a delay. Adobe Sensei will actually read the scene and adjust the geometry according to the angles that you have going on in the background.
Yeah, so that's one of the things we did in that course. We designed, it was like a bag, a box, a jar, a bottle, and a pen, right? They were all in there. And we dropped some colors on them, and we went through like putting the logo on it and there's mapping that you can use, white to black mapping that'll make texture maps and just there's all sorts of stuff. Anyways, when we brought the picture in, it actually prompts you immediately. It asks you if you want to or if you just want to pass. And if you hit yes, then it will adjust all the images or all the objects to the plane that it thinks the picture has, look at the lighting from the scene and adjust the light direction, the light color, and it matches up pretty good. I only had to make a small adjustment to the one I created. And it, I mean, Jesus, pretty amazing, really.
There was one last thing about that was, if you hit render, you get everything lined up and lit perfectly and everything. You render it out, you can export it as a PSD, and it brings it into Photoshop layered.
Nice.
Yeah, so the one thing about that was, and they didn't really go into it too much in the keynote, the layers are, so you get one layer that contains all of the objects, and then you get several mask layers that you can select individual to apply different filters and effects and stuff to these masks, and use those as selection layers. I was kind of disappointed in that, and hopefully maybe they kind of build on that a little bit and bring in each object as a layer, because why not, right? You're putting it in there as a separate object. Why not have it a separate layer too? But it's still, I mean, it gets the job done. But you know, I just thought maybe that to me was probably the downside.
Makes sense to me. One of the other, nope, that was it. As far as Adobe Dimensions, that's pretty much it. The next thing they talked about was Adobe Spark. Have you guys played with that at all?
No, I saw that in the list. I was going to ask you what that is.
Adobe Spark has it has probably 3 separate layers to it. There's Adobe Spark Post, which basically lets you graphic design images that you take with your cell phone. And you can add text to it. You can add different color treatments to it. And then you can post straight from there to all of your social media. So instead of just taking a picture of something and it's relatively boring, this will actually let you cycle through a bunch of different
design treatments.
Okay.
So it's basically graphic design for dummies. Yeah, it's, as designers we can probably look at it and be like, well, but I tell you, it comes in handy when, we'll just say, friends and family need something done quickly and they have zero budget.
Nice.
Yeah.
I open up Adobe Spark and I do some magic real quick. Boom, boom, boom. You could just, you cycle through designs super fast and then you send it off.
I've got a web client too that you can use. It's not just on your phone. You can actually sign on like Chrome or whatever and do the same thing on there.
Right, right. And that's, and they have a different section that we're talking about online. You can actually set up these entire pages of content, and it helps you just, you cycle through different designs and you can publish content super fast.
Yeah.
And there's another, so there's the app, there's the online portion, and then they have Adobe Spark Video that lets you customize videos, and it's kind of the same thing. You can cycle through different treatments on the videos that you just took.
Yeah, add titles, add shapes, stuff like that.
Yeah. So Adobe Spark is basically super simplifies graphic design treatments for your different media. And a quick little shout out to my homie Amy Copperman. She's on the Adobe Spark team.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Name drop.
Yeah, right.
Let's see. The next thing they talked about was Lightroom CC. We kind of touched on that. One of the cool things is that the new, not Lightroom Classic, but Lightroom CC, it's basically cloud-based. So once you load up images, you can then not only edit them on the desktop client, but you can also do the same editing stuff on the iPad or even iPhone.
Yeah, it's actually pretty sick. And the one caveat is the storage. And I think that's where they're having an issue with Teams, because if you buy right now, like Carlos, with your subscription, I think you get 1 terabyte of storage with your Creative Cloud. And for Teams, we only get 100 gigabytes. What's that?
Selfies forever.
Yeah, right? But I've already used it at work. I installed it. And for like weird cases, like we had a unit come back and they needed some reference photos. So I took photos, I uploaded it to a gallery, and then we sent the customer the link to the Adobe gallery. And then he was able to view them right there. And, you know, because they're in the cloud, he can see them full res and everything. And it was actually really nice.
That's pretty sick. I'm looking forward to playing with that. Oh, and the cool thing is, not only do you need the app, but you can also do a lot of these changes on a browser.
That's cool.
Really?
That I like.
Yeah. Yeah, so Lightroom CC is getting ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. I asked somebody, there was a photographer there that I started talking to, and he was upset with it. He felt like it was kind of like what Final Cut did, you know, from 7 to 10, where it dumbed it down and made it for everyone. And I think it was just an initial glance. I don't know. Maybe if he goes back and plays with it, he'll change his mind. But I think it's really cool. I thought it was a step in the right direction for Lightroom CC.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played with it yet. I got home finally after being out of the house for 2 weeks. I finally got home. I unpacked my bags and I packed a bag and came down to LA.
So your house is still there?
Yeah. My house is still standing.
Did he get
You sound so disappointed.
Did he get close or no?
It got to within 5 miles. But there's a lot of neighborhoods out there that didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot. God, it's brutal. So yeah. So anyway, let's see. Then they talked about After Effects.
Anything good with After Effects?
They're doing a lot of really cool things. They're really working Adobe Stock into everything.
Yeah.
Which is a smart move as far as Adobe corporate goes.
Yeah. You're trying to get you to stop using your Shutterstock.
Yeah.
It's so expensive though. Jeez.
Shutterstock's expensive too.
Yeah. The Adobe Stock, the photos aren't too bad, but anything other than photos, like videos, or I can only imagine what these templates are going to cost. What Carlos is about ready to talk about. But geez.
So After Effects has templates.
So now they're moving into like territory of like Envato and all those places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
This sounds good for me. I would use it. If it's a good template, I would use it.
And we're going to talk about this in a little bit. Should we talk about this now?
Go ahead.
This is kind of a sneak peek thing. No, we don't have to. We'll talk about that in a little bit. You're basically going to be able to. They've been working on search functionality, so you can go in and do a search in Adobe Stock, and even within After Effects itself, they have a panel for. They give you some templates that you can play with for free. You don't necessarily have to buy templates right offhand or right off the bat. They have some available for you. And then if you want like the super fancy ones, you can go to Adobe Stock and get those. And the cool thing again about the functionality between, or the interaction between the software and Adobe Stock, you can go and get this stuff, use it, and it's going to have a watermark. And eventually, once you get the thumbs up from your client, you're going to be able to just like right click, authorize, charge you, and everything gets updated, and it's super easy.
That's a nicer way of doing it, rather than me going to download the version and get rid of it. Okay.
Right. It automatically updates everything, and you're off.
I like that because that's a nightmare.
The new content aware, is it? Do you think they programmed in there so that it doesn't remove watermarks from Adobe?
Oh, that's a good question. They're starting to integrate 360 VR into After Effects.
Yeah.
Can we talk about
that? Charlie.
Oh, Charles.
Those are two different yeahs.
Let's talk. I'll let you introduce it first, and we can talk about it.
That's it.
I don't know anything about it. I just got excited about something I don't even know.
One was very excited. One was very disappointed.
I think it's a gimmick right now.
What is it?
So what they did was they're giving you, because then my other designers in the motion pod like pulled it up, and she's like, "Look, you can do this," and then all the motion artists was like, and that video editor was like, So imagine you have Oculus on your desk, right? You grab it. You're editing a video in After Effects or whatever. Or was it After Effects or was it Premiere Pro?
I think it's both.
I think it's both.
I mean, I think
or you're editing because they show Premiere Pro too. Or you're editing a video on Premiere Pro, and you're editing a 360 video, right? Because you're making some kind of experience for YouTube or wherever it's going. So they have it now where basically they've truncated the interface, put it in a VR space, right? So you put the headset on, right? And now imagine, Jack, if you're sitting at your desk in the round, but you have a round desk, and your video is all the way around you, right? So you can look behind you when working at working on a 360 video, and basically it's like putting you in a little virtual theater, right?
Yeah.
And you're able to like scrub and like work in VR on the video, and then be able to edit the video too. So they did the example on the live demo of it, where like he's editing video, right? He has a race car video, and some other type of race car video. He's like, you want to have this video have an edit point here, and you want to bring this video next in the sequence. So he was like editing the video, but when he was editing the video, he's like, since you're editing in VR, you're using the controllers. I think it was Oculus or whatever, or Vive. It was Vive, I think. And like, he's trying to grab one here and like edit it and like pull the video and edit over here and then play it back in real time.
Wait, but why is he pulling something from behind him? Isn't the video that he's editing is 360, right?
So the other part is behind him.
Yeah, the UI elements.
Like just the other view, or like
the view that he wanted, the cut that he wanted was like here.
Like later in the timeline?
Yeah, like later in the timeline.
But why would they do? I thought the whole point of it is that you're editing an actual 360 video, which is why you see a 360 video. Why they put the clips in there, like behind you and stuff.
Yeah, so it's not clips,
exactly.
It's the whole video. He just played it forward a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, but that part that you want is like."
Oh, wait a minute. We're not editing a 360 video. We're editing in 360.
Yes,
Yeah.
a 360 video.
Stupid. That is dumb.
Yeah.
You're editing a
That's
360 video in 360.
Yeah, like minority.
That's the gimmicky part. Yeah.
I thought what they need to do is figure out a way like that when you can edit 360 videos, because I've worked on a couple of VR 360 commercials and they are such a pain in the ass to view it as you're working on it.
And that's what I was trying to explain to my senior designer where she wasn't understanding it. I was like, an editor wants precision. So what this dude, when he was like, oh, missed it, let me grab it again. That's not what he wants.
Nah.
So he give me a way to put my headset on seamlessly while I'm editing 360 video. Meaning like you still have to do this and watch it. Give me some kind of way to be able to watch the 360 video, like preview it like I want to in real time or something, or like I was like, put those tools in a 2D editor, like put it in the editor. Like he did some cool cutting and stuff where he was able to like scroll forward and then grab one and then cut it together. I'm like, that's cool. Take it out of VR and just put it in Premiere Pro so that like I'm able to like maybe zoom out or something, or give me a 3D interface where I'm able to see it playing.
Yeah.
In like in 3D, but like in the editor, not in the VR. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like
the way that they integrated the
inside of a like, I don't know, cylinder or something, or whatever, however you want to watch it. I just want to be able to see it wrap in a bird's eye view, maybe, rather than, be right up in it was like, because he even like didn't grab it the first time, and it was like, you think,
the way it's integrated into the editing is very clunky. It's very, very clunky.
It's so gimmicky.
But they had a section where the guy was actually, they had After Effects running, and he put on a headset and he was looking around and doing whatever. So
that's cool, because now you can preview it really easily. So if they made the functionality, and they've done this with a couple other programs, but like getting all the programs that are out that we use as creatives, making the Oculus or the Vive truly plug and play. We don't want to, because like I've dealt with like these things for the last couple of years where like, oh, I opened up my After Effects. Oh, it's not working. My Oculus is not working. I wonder why it's not working. Let's restart. So if they can just work on making like that notch program I told you guys about, that's like truly plug and play. I just plug it in and all of a sudden, boom, I'm using it. That's cool. I want to be able to just pick up my headset, and if After Effects is running, I can just look at it, because that's what you got to do now. You got to do this type of deal. Is it cool? Cool. Put it down and go back to work,
Yeah.
So just keep it so it's like always running. That'd be great.
And that's one thing that they really have been focusing on, is the integration between the software and the hardware that you're using. So with XD, with After Effects, with Premiere, all those things. Like if you're putting on a headset, there's not a lot of hoops to jump through. Whereas like when I was creating both my games and doing other stuff, and you're trying to port it over to a device, it used to be a crapshoot, and most of the time it would fail, where you're trying to compile the code and then put it on your device. It used to fail 75% of the time. And now it's at the point now, even with XD, where it's almost instantly. You save a file, you save your project in XD, it's on your phone just that fast.
Yeah.
Which helps.
That does help. The plug and play is the biggest deal. Like, you just want to be able to, like, those people who are still wanting to, like, oh, I'll buy this Oculus, or these companies, oh, we got this 360 video thing to shoot. You want to use Oculus? Cool. Let's use it. Be able to just install the drivers, go through all the hoopla, and then just run After Effects or run Premiere Pro, and it works. So that you can view your 360 videos. That's a huge thing.
One of the other things that they addressed, they officially released Character Animator. If you guys don't remember, Sketch Zone Podcast was the first podcast in history to have live cartoon hosts. I don't remember what episode that was, but check it out.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what it is, Character Animator basically lets you create a cartoon character in Photoshop or Illustrator. You bring it into Character Animator, and it uses face detection, lip syncing, eyebrows, blinking, all that stuff, and it applies all those actions to your character in real time.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. I've never used it, but I watched all the stuff, and I've watched people use it. It's really awesome.
I'm gonna try to find out while we talk. I'm gonna try to find out what episode that was. But yeah, it was really cool. And what's cool is I attended a session on Character Animator, and the guy who does all of the tutorial videos, Dave. At the end of the session, I walked up to him and I said, Dave, my name is Carlos. I have Sketch Zone Podcast, and if you remember, I tweeted you and you came in for a hot second. We're the first podcast to be using Character Animator. And he said, oh yeah, I remember. That was pretty cool. So it was neat.
Now, I don't know much about it. So does it just use whatever, like, webcam or whatever you're using? You don't have to have any kind of special camera or anything like that. It's just whatever you have.
Yep, whatever you have. And then what Character Animator does is it plots a bunch of points on your face. The only thing that you really have to have is good lighting.
Oh, right on.
Oh, yeah.
Past that, it puts a bunch of dots on your face, and it reads everything that's happening on your face, and it applies it to the puppet. Nice. And the puppet, I mean, it's when we did the show originally, it was really good, and now it's even better than that.
Nice.
And it's cool because if you do a search on YouTube, there's people actually putting full-on shows together.
Just using Character Animator.
Yeah, and they have a couple different characters, and then what you do is you can take the animation, you record the animation in Character Animator, you can export it to After Effects.
Oh, right on. That was going to be my next question. So is it always live, or are you creating like a video that you then edit after the fact, like live footage, basically?
Yeah. You create it in Character Animator, you record it there. Now, what's crazy is when they first started doing this used to be a plugin for After Effects. Like Adobe was doing this in After Effects. Mm-hmm. But then they said, this is a lot. Let's just make it its own thing. And now it's its own thing. And they have it where setup was a pain. Like when I set it up for this show, setup was a pain. And I was trying to hurry up, and so it was a little clunky when I did it for the show, but it worked. Now they have it streamlined, and they've done a lot of improvements to it, so it's really cool.
Nice. I'm gonna have to look that episode up.
Yeah, I'm trying to. We even had. I don't even think he had announced his run for presidency. We even had.
Yeah.
Donald Trump on the show.
Nice.
That was a good.
I can only imagine.
Good show. So then that was Character Animator, and then they started showing us some things that are coming with Adobe Sensei.
Hi.
And we're doing that. Those two things that Jeff and I were doing. Every time someone's and then every time they were about to build up to something cool, I'd look over at Jeff and I go, so if you look under your chair,
Yeah.
we're still waiting for like these goodies can't be the gift. It has to be something better.
And then it was.
And it
Never was.
So they talked about the advancements that they've been making with this Adobe Sensei. Imagine, thank you.
Yeah.
There's a button in Photoshop that you click, and then you talk to Photoshop and say, find me an image of a woman in space.
No.
Well, yeah.
You put Siri in Photoshop?
Yeah.
Basically.
Photoshop, do my job for me.
Yeah.
Photoshop, build me this picture. Ready, go. Have it done by lunch.
That's what they did. The demo was somebody had sketched something, and it was a really loose sketch, right? I mean, you agree with that, Carlos? It was pretty loose, right? And I think the command was like, find me photos for this sketch or something like that. And
Wow.
And it did. It looked up like there was the lady, the rocket ship, the space background. It was insane.
Copyright stuff is just gonna go nuts now. You can just find me this image and it'll find something and you can see that person.
But that's just it, though. It looks through Adobe Stock.
And your library. Like if you've uploaded artwork of your own to your library, it looks through that as well.
Yeah.
That was sick. I was hoping to see that, but it's not. I don't think that's in there yet.
And then they said,
no, I haven't seen it either.
Photoshop, give everybody a free iPad, and then it gave everybody a t-shirt.
Yeah, if you look under your chair. Yeah,
I kept reaching. There was nothing there.
I'd like to see the analytics right when they release this, and how many people are going to be like, Photoshop, find me dick pics.
Yeah. Or everything else, yeah.
Find me boobies.
But I'm Adobe Stock.
But I'm Adobe Stock. Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Please search Google.
So yeah, it
I'm
did
sorry, Dave.
dynamic image recognition on the drawing, smart image filtering with Adobe Stock. So yeah, kind of what we talked about before, where you can tell it, I need shallow depth of field, more shallow depth of field, stuff like that. Oh, okay. So you know how some of this software, especially 3D software, has these branches that you can click and attach different things to? It's basically just a tree of everything that you're creating.
Node based.
Node.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but a little different.
Yeah.
Imagine that same tree-like thing, but it's actually your process. So as you're creating your design, Photoshop is remembering, and it's creating this tree. And then you have the example that they had is they're making this movie poster, and there's this woman in space with a space suit. There's like rockets and all kinds of stuff are happening. But then you cycle through and you find a different. We could talk about that part right now. Post-it note right there. You have this lady in her space suit, and she's looking to the left.
That's the right.
Or is mirror down here?
That's the right.
And then,
It's mirror.
and then you can tell Photoshop, find me more images like this, but her face needs to be anywhere between here and here.
Is that
And you'll
specific?
find them, and within Photoshop, you could just take this little draggy thing, drag it back and forth, and the images will do like this.
That was the technical term too. That is draggy thing.
They've renamed that slider to
Draggy thing. Yeah.
Really?
So if your creative director says, yeah, that's cool, but instead of looking to the left,
man.
I need her to look kind of to the right. You can do like that.
It's cool, but it's also kind of dangerous.
It's very dangerous. But then, so let's say that happens. You find that right thing like this. Creative director says, yeah, that's the one. Then they show it to the client, and the client says, I like it, but I want her to look to the left. You can go back to your little branches of stuff, click on that node where you changed that image, click on that, and say revert to that right there. Boom, sends you right there.
It's not even revert. Like you can full on replace that image with
And so
another one.
It's like a node-based tree. It will remember everything you've done after that, right?
And it'll change everything, all the layer manipulations, all the filter effects, all that stuff. And it'll just,
and I'm pretty sure it's all smart mask,
So
right?
it's gonna crash Photoshop. They do the similar thing in Maya, where if you don't clear your history, you know, because it saves every little thing you've ever done.
That is true.
Like, how big is this? How big is this?
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, how big is the file size?
Drawing like the Mike Henry or something.
On your cloud space.
exactly.
Yeah, it better be going straight to the cloud, right? Already.
You like to upgrade your space.
So yeah, that was pretty much the keynote.
Man, that's a lot of stuff.
Lot of stuff.
It off like
That was a lot.
Yeah, it's good. Wow.
And then so that would happen in the morning, and then you go up to your sessions and everything.
Right.
And then the next morning they had some speeches from some creative folks. John Favreau was there. This Potter, I can never remember his name. Anyway, Potter.
Yeah. He makes pots.
He makes pots.
Okay.
And furniture.
Yeah.
It was cool. That part was cool because
We couldn't get the digital painter. Get the Potter guy.
Get that Potter guy in here. Stat.
I did think that was kind of weird. Like, for a digital art conference, and they get a Potter. They blew their budget on John Favreau.
Yeah.
And those hoodies.
You know, he took one.
Yeah. Then the night before the bash, they had sneak peeks.
Yeah.
And they had a bunch of sneak peeks. Not gonna lie, there was some cool stuff, but not anything like, oh boy, that's about to happen. Right? I'm not gonna lie. You tell me, Jeff. To me, being able to talk to Photoshop was the biggest mic drop that they had.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely that the whole Sensei thing was huge. I mean, that, you know, talking and the recognition and all that stuff was was huge. I think honestly I think the keynote almost outshined the sneaks, and I don't know that that's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And the funny part for me was, like, I'll let you talk more about the sneaks and then tell you like what was the coolest thing for me.
For the sneaks, I think everything was just basically I don't remember most of them.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That didn't.
There was one that you could I think it was in After Effects. It's basically content to, oh, you know what? A lot of it was content aware fill is really good, but we're going to do it a lot better this way.
Right. It's the new content aware fill
that did that.
Yeah. And it wasn't, I mean, it was okay. Like that, those things weren't groundbreaking at all. I mean, yeah, maybe it makes it a little easier, but all that stuff we can do now. I mean, you know, just a little more effort, I guess. So there wasn't anything that was like, holy shit.
Right.
It's like stuff, all of the content aware stuff was things that we can do now. They're just doing it better.
Yeah.
Then they had the one content aware thing, but in After Effects. So they were actually doing content aware.
Well, that's cool.
Fill on video.
Yeah, that was dope. That was super dope.
Now we're getting somewhere. That's cool.
That was super dope. Yeah, they took the two people out of the video, walking through that canyon
I
thing.
saw that
That was sick.
That's cool.
Now that's cool.
Yeah.
So if you're listening on iTunes, or even here on YouTube, it doesn't matter. They had two people walking through a cave.
Yeah, I saw that. That was awesome.
And they took the people out.
Yeah, with the video. It was camera movements and everything, and it literally couldn't even tell. It was, it was ridiculous.
All those roto paint artists. Watch
Oh,
out!
I know, right?
Later.
Yeah.
This is gonna go to After Effects. I'll just take this out in After Effects real quick. Don't worry. Hold on, then I'll just give it to you. Throw it back in Nuke. No, you don't have to do that in Nuke. I'll just take it out in After Effects. It's like a one button thing. Don't worry about it.
But God, those directors are gonna get lazy.
Can you imagine? Just take it out in post. Just take it out.
And just leave the truck there.
They'll take it out later.
If that's funny in Paris, let's just shoot in my backyard.
Right?
We'll take out all the stuff we don't need and put what we want.
All movies are single studio green screen shot now.
Yo, backyards look amazing now.
I'm still trying to find the character animator show.
The episode. The coolest one for me.
I'll share it with you later, Jeff.
All right. Because I work in a corporate setting, I guess. That whole data-driven graphics thing was really awesome, and I hope they put that in After Effects. And Illustrator, yeah.
Isn't it funny that one of the coolest things that they did in sneak peeks was the graph creator?
Yeah.
You can make pie charts, line charts.
What is this?
Dude, it sounds silly, but the way that they did it, and the using anchor points and the chart driven input. I mean, it's not like I gotta, like right now I'm doing infographics for a trade show, and if I were able to just import a freaking Excel spreadsheet and let it hit a key and it's done, God, I literally today 8 hours of making stupid percent dials and bars and shit. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's right around the corner. So if you make graphs at work, there's help. There's help coming soon, and it would. I'm telling you, that's probably for me. That was probably the runner-up of the coolest thing that they had that night.
Yeah, for sure. Which is kind of sad, really, honestly, if you think about it.
The coolest part for me was there's this. Imagine in Photoshop or even Photoshop, it's probably going to make it to all of their mobile apps too. You have a little disc on the bottom there, and you're able to select colors and drop it into this disc, and then you mix the colors together. And then it gives you the gradiated color between the original color up here and the second color down here. And then that way you can sample colors directly from this little color sample disc. And then you can drop in a third color, and then it does all of that color mixing all between the three colors. And then, so she started showing how you can sample colors from this palette and create your drawing. And then she used like a two warm colors and like a cool color. She goes, but let's say, for example, you don't like this first original color. Maybe it's just too red. She changed that to like a green, and the entire painting changed to a green-based color.
Anywhere she used that original color. Yeah, that was pretty sick. That was pretty awesome.
So that I'm thinking that might come in handy. Like, you're able to create different palettes too. So maybe on one layer you have the original painting. The next layer you can do kind of the same thing, but maybe it's nighttime. So instead of a warm color, you can drop it to like a dark blue or something, and then now you got different flavors of the same drawing.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think she demoed that on the iPad. That was really awesome.
Sneak peek thing.
Yeah.
What's this coming in? Part of Photoshop.
Possibly Photoshop, but Jeff said that she was demoing it on the iPad. But I can't imagine that they're gonna have something cool like that on Photoshop Sketch and not bring it into Photoshop. Because that's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty damn awesome.
What was your standout?
I mean, because we do a lot of video and stuff, I think that content aware replace was, I mean, that was just amazing. And there's so many situations where it's run and gun style shooting where we work, and it's like, quick, hurry up and go grab this footage, and there's stuff in the way and you can't move it and whatever. Being able to get rid of that'd be really awesome. And then, like I said, that's the stupid graphs. I mean, I know it's silly and it sounds just ridiculous, but go make graphs. It sucks.
Yeah.
How did they get rid of it? Was it like a pen tool type deal? And
No, yeah. I mean, there was no tracing. It was kind of like it's content aware fill in Photoshop, where you just take your brush and kind of paint over the top of it, and so it recognizes what you want to remove, masks it out. Okay. And then uses the surrounding crap and fills it in as the video goes.
Frames before and after to recreate the part that you're trying to get. He did a brush, and you could even do like a pen tool too.
Yeah. Was it fast?
Yeah, it was super fast. I mean, it was a demo, so obviously it was really fast. But yeah, it almost creates like it uses all the frames to create a clean plate shot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming this was like best case scenario where the footage had all the information it needed. I'd be curious to see it in action.
Yeah. The background was pretty uniform, I would say. Like it was a cave, so the arch of the cave and the rocks, all of it was exposed as they were walking out of the opening and then past the camera. So there was a point in time that you could probably do it yourself, but it would just take forever. And using that footage.
And the other example they had was, imagine the camera was on a boat, and this building in the background had a light post that moved in front of the building, and he wanted to take the lamp post down. So he just painted a circle, or he painted on top of that lamp post, and then ran through it, and it took that bad boy right out.
Yeah, it was
cool.
It was cool too.
Cool.
Yeah, and that the building was like, old with all the arches and the gargoyles and the little. I mean, that was pretty intricate footage that they chopped that out of. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it was from Adobe Stock. Yeah.
So yeah, you can content aware fill watermarks off your videos.
Yeah.
Then demo that.
Yeah, so I think that was probably the standout for me, was that, just because, like I said, you always get in a situation where something happened, and where I work, people just don't pay attention, and if I could take out people, that sounded very
what?
That sounded very evil.
I can take out people.
I can just take out people.
Yeah.
I got one more.
SWAT.
I'm trying to.
That's what I'm looking at.
Very fast research. That I don't see anything, so I'm not really going to talk about part of this, but I will let you know. I was able to hang out with one of the developers and the product manager for Adobe Animate.
Nice.
Okay.
Formerly known as
Flash.
How do you talk to them, though?
Yeah, so we sat down and I started explaining to them how we needed at least a pencil brush so we can do pencil tests. And the product manager kept asking me, I need a case, I need a test case. Like, what would you use that for? And so
I said, this is a pencil test that I did in Sketchbook Pro. Sketchbook Pro has the functionality that you can create a flip book, which is basically frame-by-frame animation. Yes, you can do that in Animate, but Animate's brush engine is all vector, and so you start getting this auto smoothing, and it just takes away from the character of a pencil test, the charm of a pencil test. And so I was explaining to them, this is what, and he's like, well, yeah, but why would you need that? And I said, okay, I need it because I don't want to leave Animate. The way that I'm doing it now is I'm leaving the Adobe family of products and I'm going to something that Autodesk makes, and I'm able to do it in Autodesk. And if you guys want me to do that, I'd be more than happy to. And he goes, oh, well, can't you do that in Photoshop? Can't you animate in Photoshop? I said, do you know how clunky it is to animate in Photoshop? You have to do like this, and you open up the animation panel, and then you have to create a video layer, and then you have to do all kinds of stuff. And I've looked for plugins, and I've found them, and they're even clunky too, even though they simplify the process. So it's just really tough. And all I want to do is open up Animate, whether it's a bitmap layer or a bitmap brush. I want to be able to get in there and pencil test and get the timing down. And the way that I described it, he was like, perfect, that's what I need. Hopefully, we're going to be getting a bitmap brush in Animate soon.
Wow. Cool. Think he was receptive?
Totally.
Okay.
Totally, yeah. And I think they're starting to realize that they need to listen to the animators that are actually using Animate because everyone is leaving.
Yeah.
You need to put something in there that entice people to come back and say, let me look at this again.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully that's, I was bending his ear in a big way. I like animating in Animate. It's not a bad process. It's just there. Sometimes that brush, I'll use the brush when you're finishing up.
That's always been my complaint about, even when it was Flash. It's just I just don't like that brush engine.
Yeah.
The vector stuff is.
Yeah.
Dated.
But I've been on the beta program, on the pre-release program for Animate for a long time now.
It should make you like a community manager.
And now I get to talk about, in Animate, one of the cool things that's happening is they introduced a camera back in CC 2016. So you're able to animate everything that you have, and instead of tricking the quote-unquote camera, now you actually have a camera and you can zoom in and zoom out and do all kinds of stuff, which is cool.
Yeah, that's
cool. It's better because not only do you have a camera, but now you can move the camera and all of your objects in Z depth. So before, if you wanted to rotate something around something else, you would have to animate the first part, then take the second part of that rotating animation, and then take those frames and drop it under the part that you're animating around.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to do that. You just animate stuff and change the Z depth to it, and now you have a camera with movement in and out instead of just up and down, left and right.
Can you does the camera move in 3D space too, or? I mean, I know it's Z depth, but can you like do a rotation around?
No.
Okay, it's just pan and zoom and Z.
That's one of the things that I was trying to figure out, but it just wasn't happening.
Yeah, I guess it's 2D animation, so why would you need that?
I could see where you.
Well, you could. I mean, After Effects has
Yeah.
Full 3D camera, and I've done 2D animations in After Effects for that reason. You can
right on.
Like you can build like a card, like almost like a theater, or like a what are those diorama? You build like a diorama of 2D cards, and then you can kind of move. depending on how they're designed, you can orbit around them pretty well.
That's cool.
And if you incorporate, one of the things that I wanted to do rotating wise was something that Jack touched on in After Effects. You can have, say, ribbons come down from the top or whatever. And then if you rotate around those ribbons, all of a sudden it's going to be someone's face, because now you can the flat part of it.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's what I was trying to do, but you can't. But you can have, you know, the example that they had is you have some background mountains, some mountains in the middle ground, and then some foreground mountains. You can have your character wherever. You can have the camera going in and out. So now you don't have to animate that one layer growing, and it always looks fake. Now you can just get in there and just move the camera in Z space. And
you get that natural parallax, because trying to animate parallax is tough.
Yeah. And there's other really cool things that they were doing. There's a new scrub tool, so I think it's Command H or something like, or maybe Alt H, and you can drag on the stage, and it'll actually cycle through your animation instead of having to grab that playhead and drag that back and forth. Now you just do that directly up there.
That's cool.
Nice.
And there was a few other things.
Right.
They're doing some code stuff that, I mean, I told them, you don't have to tell me about that. Just work on Flash Builder, and I could take it from there. But they're not going to be doing Flash Builder stuff anymore.
It is heavily a creative tool now, more than coding, right? Or is that still another side of it?
You can still do coding. There's this one thing that I'm not exactly sure I can talk about yet, but I know that I talked to the product manager, and he got me in the program to help test this new stuff that they're going to be introducing. So more on that later.
That's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, Dave Etsy said that Z camera zoom could have worked well in Old Man's Journey. Yeah. No. Yeah, so that's that. Besides that, I bumped into some Google folks. Google gave me my Google Cardboard. Play with that. That's actually pretty neat.
Yeah.
I was watching 360 video on YouTube.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's kind of dumb. On YouTube is dumb. It's like you're sitting there. It's almost like watching a video in a Viewmaster.
That's exactly what it is.
But you can't, like, you're going up this roller coaster, and I'm looking to the side, and it doesn't do anything.
You just look dumb. Just
one of the cool things, Jeff, I was telling you, but I guess you didn't make it to that room with the socks.
I didn't.
I got a creative director. And if you turn it on,
it feels too designed. Make it interactive.
Nice.
Trust me, you'll thank me when we're in camp.
when we're in camp.
Oh.
It feels too advertising.
So he's got a bunch of sayings that he says, I'm going to put this on my desk at home.
That's funny.
But yeah, I got a ton of stuff, like some Adobe socks. I got, let me see if I can find those real quick. Oh, you know what? If we're going to be doing fun prompts, I have tubes of colored pencils. I'll come up with different packages, if you will. So that'll be motivation. Oh, here are the socks. There's a phone holder.
That?
That's a phone holder. Here's the Adobe socks.
Weird product
Jeff, you
design.
didn't get any of these?
I didn't, man. My goal was to do it Friday after the last session, but they closed the pavilion and all that stuff down at 4, and I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, if you're listening and you watch this and I still have stuff, post something. Oh, this is cool.
A pen?
No. This is actually
Oh
like a
yeah,
mini screwdriver.
with all the little screwdriver head bits in it.
Yeah.
That's cool. What does that have to do with Adobe?
It's they were one of the
That is cool.
booth havers there.
We did, however, get a pen though.
Spinner. So if you're in the need for a fidget spinner, I got Adobe Max bags. Bam! I'm telling you, I was running around collecting stuff
Nice.
because I wanted to do a giveaway. So
No.
if you want some Adobe Max stuff, you have to draw a picture. A picture of
A futuristic mechanic war machine.
Nice.
that's it. So
And you'll
yeah,
automatically be entered.
I got 2 fidget spinners.
You know, they should have run they should have run the Max thing like a carnival. Like you could trade in all that stuff for a bigger prize.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I got a t-shirt. So if you're running around drawing, but like half butt naked, I'll send you a t-shirt. Yeah, y'all. So with that being said,
Here they come. Here they come, yo. Here they come. Here they come.
Mind One TV.
What up?
This or that. We did this or that on Instagram during Adobe Max.
We did.
So now we're going to compare what people said to what Jeff from Mind One TV has to say. My friend, this or that. Curved screen or flat?
Flat, for sure.
Skystone Nation had voted for curved.
Yeah.
More
They're
people said
wrong.
curved.
Sorry.
Wrong.
I'm team
Team flat.
Yeah.
I think curved is a gimmicky thing, honestly.
Charlie, what did you say?
I didn't say anything.
No?
Yeah, but what did you say? What do you want to say?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't saying anything.
No, but which one do you vote for, fool?
Would you?
Huh? Wrong.
The first one first.
Stupid.
What?
All right.
Sorry.
The other one,
Why are you looking at my thing?
the other one was Adobe Max or Keep It Mini.
What?
Yeah, what?
Would you go to Adobe Max or do you think Adobe Max is overrated?
Oh no, I'd totally go to Max.
I get it.
Nation was like, yeah, no Max. They want to keep it mini.
They're always wrong.
Wrong.
What?
Wrong. No way, dude. I've only been once, but it was totally worth it. I mean, I the first thing I did when I got back to work was tell my boss that we have to go next year. Like, I mean, it was, yeah.
I was so ready to, every night, I was ready to try something new, By the time I got home, I had like 3 t-shirt designs done.
Nice. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, besides something that's not Adobe's fault, like it was so expensive. The hotel rooms were so expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
How close were you?
It was in the yeah.
Was it in the you're in the same Same hotel as the.
Yeah, we were in the Venetian. Yeah.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Carlos, did you do the early bird pricing and like book the hotel through the Adobe site and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was still pretty expensive. But the thing is, if they ever did do it again in Vegas, I would definitely ask people to see, because the room was obnoxiously big.
Yeah.
3 people could stay in the same room very comfortably. I had 2 queen beds.
You had like a
and
balcony
and a
like
pull-out couch.
a sunken living room.
The couch
It was
farther away from the bed, though.
It was literally bigger than my first apartment.
Yeah,
Was the couch like farther away from the bed, though, in another room or around the
it was in
corner?
a sunken living room.
Yeah, sunken living room.
Yeah, I had 2 TVs. I had the Yankees and the Astros on one TV, and I had the Dodgers and the Cubs on the other one.
I literally didn't turn the TVs on once. I watched Rick and Morty on my iPad.
I had to, because at the end of the day, my feet were just throbbing.
Yeah, there's a lot of walking.
Yeah.
Was everything too spread out?
It's just, you just keep moving, really.
Yeah, I think the convention was okay. I mean, it was 5 floors of stuff. I just think that getting from the convention center to the hotel room, depending on where your room was, mine was on the 22nd floor, room 142, which was at the end of the wing. So it was like once you get off the elevator, I still had a quarter of a mile to walk to get to my room.
I kept getting lost.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is. You could be walking through one of the casinos and look up and you're in a completely different casino.
Yeah.
Vegas is weird.
Intentional.
Intentional.
It was cool.
Hey, Illustrator or Photoshop?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, from a personal standpoint, I'd probably say I'm more comfortable with Photoshop. So I would probably go with Photoshop.
Twitch or YouTube?
Oh, Twitch, 100%.
So yeah. So there's all right, I'm trying to put my creative director away. So now let's get into
I love these sound bites.
click on. Oh man. Yeah,
Charles,
Yes.
Yeah,
you can go first, because since we're doubling up over here.
Okay, here I go. Because I was too busy looking this up before. Here we go. Here we go, yo. Hey, Jack. Quiet.
Oh no, I was talking to. Sorry.
So my artist's name is Gray Shuko. His site is like obnoxiously like early 2000s before.
Yeah, it is.
Very old school. Like I felt like he made it like this on purpose, but I haven't seen a site like this in so long with the little thumbnails that seem to be like very, very obnoxious to like put together. But it's great. But I actually can't really stand his site. But I thought it was so cool at least have you guys to show you guys it off, and then we'll get to a site that's actually better. Grayshuko.net is his site. He's even .net, you know. Cool. But let's look at his art section because that's easier to see his work. Boom. So this guy has an awesome style.
Nice.
He does a lot of stuff for like there's a lot of Blizzard stuff and like Overwatch stuff. It's very like Capcom art of Capcom-ish. If you guys know that type of style, Street Fighter, Darkstalkers, your stereotypical liquid coloring style. If you're really into comics back in the day, Joe Mad, list goes on. Like his stuff though, really cool. It's a 2D guy, so my other two hosts should like my post today. It's no 3D, except this one is awesome. It's like paper mache or something. But yeah, I like his style. Check it out. It's really good. You know, kind of mixing.
Oh, that's nice.
Blizzard,
Yeah, I like that.
Blizzard with some Street Fighter.
Yeah, so
But like, it's concept artist, so freelance 2D artist, as he puts it. I like when they show their roughs. You know.
He already did our futuristic mechanic warrior.
I know.
Yeah, he has a couple of them on here.
I'm gonna have to go through here and Pinterest this whole thing.
Yeah, like he's got a lot of different little things, you know. Like some of his stuff is real rough because it look like he's looking at his process. It look like he does a lot of like concepting stuff, video gamey type stuff. But I don't know. I like this.
Yeah,
I love this.
I like that dope. Yeah, that was sick.
I love this. It's like oops. I always like when artists do that. Oops. For some reason, I really like this one too. Like I like some of its like fan arty stuff. You know, look at this force perspective type things. It's
Oh,
cool.
it's dope. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a Borderlands feel to it too. Is his style?
Yeah, like it's funny because like all his like Metal Gear Solid stuff has like a crazy blur on it. Like it's the camera's like blurred, and then Tenchu. This is one of the.
I remember that game.
One of the best games. It's the classic stealth game.
I loved that game.
People talk about Metal Gear Solid. Fuck that game. This game here, Tenchi. I remember your controller. You remember this? You know, like instant nostalgia when I thought of this. I can see the levels in my head. A couple of the levels in my head. You know, which way? There's like 5 or 6 ways to do anything in it. You know, it's great. But like you know. Wake Fu is like a isometric top down type game, very 2D heavy, based off of a really cool world, and check it out. But yeah,
Joe.
it's got different stuff. There he is, Gray Shuko.
Nice.
I had another one, but we're gonna say that.
Trying to do 2? You trying to do 2 on us?
I was going to. I always throw it out there because I can't pick anymore.
This week we're going to take a look at someone who I don't understand why. I'm assuming it's a she. Only has 382 followers.
I actually just followed this person last week too.
Well, it seems her name is Kim,
and I thought the same thing.
Kim Toft Dalsgaard.
That's the last name for you.
I believe they are. Yeah, she's in Denmark, and the quality of some of these pieces. This one is fantastic.
I bet you she just got on. Maybe she just got on.
Like, look at the quality of this.
What's with the white?
Good.
That's where the text goes.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, I bet you she just got on. Like, does it show when she became a part of Instagram?
Yeah, it looks very established. Like she's.
But look at this. This one is the one that caught my eye most of all. This is.
It's a detailed.
There's a story happening in this drawing, and you know I'm a fool for cutesy, cartoony stuff.
Yeah.
I like the coloring.
But look at the squirrel up on the suitcase.
That's sick.
And the old man driving.
Look at the stoplight.
Such detail.
Detailed stoplight.
This next one is amazing.
It's pirates.
Oh, nice.
Again, like.
Yeah, I'll look English.
The quality is there. I'm not. Does it say? It doesn't really say. She only has 169 posts.
See, it seems like.
But yeah, those horses that we just. The horses are on point. Look at that.
Look at the kids underneath hiding.
Story in almost every drawing.
I feel like they're not of that world.
That's basically just a teddy bear study, but
Yeah, they do. Cool.
and the quality of the drawings are outstanding.
So have you searched?
that's
Have you
awesome.
Googled her? Does she sell books?
I don't know.
It says kids book Instagram.
Find out.
I feel like she's got a book somewhere.
Searching. I don't know that one.
Because I looked around and
Maybe you search Kim Toft.
I didn't
She
really
got
see
married.
much. And then there was, what did they speak in Denmark? Like
Finish.
Dutch.
Finish.
I think it's
I think it's Dutch.
Is it
There's some websites that she's connected to Will Terry.
that's Will Taylor.
I had sent her a friend request, but she's ignoring me. So,
You gotta talk to Will Terry first, and then give him.
Danish. They speak Danish. Tasty. So yeah, I don't know why, but still relatively.
She's got my follow. That's for sure.
it's cool stuff.
Her
Yep, good stuff.
got really good drawings.
So good job, Kim Toft Dalsgaard.
Mhm.
All right.
What you got? Better be good, man. Let's go.
Okay, hold up. So you know how much I love me some black and white.
We're not going black and white, are we?
Well, almost.
Don't be racist, Charlie.
And I might say that this is Yoshitani. It's all hand done, and she's added in gold. Now, normally I think that's kind of gimmicky, but she nails it.
Dude, that little balcony, that little window thing right there.
Yoshi is a he's name, yeah.
Yoshi, yeah.
Possibly.
That window was awesome.
But this is all done by hand. He or she's got the gold marker.
Oh, it's totally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of. At first, I saw this and I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool, nice, super nice line work, really clean. I'm digging it." And then
Someone said, "Can I marry you, please?"
the creepy guys.
oh,
The creepy guys on Instagram.
Propose to her.
and then I saw the actual pen, and I was digging it. So
Yeah, it's so good.
Dude,
super clean. Man, my internet is just garbage. But see, when you zoom in, you see the individual.
Yeah, that's insane how clean.
She's like confident with all that gold.
That's insane.
Yo, you gotta let me show one more today. I have.
So yeah, Yoshitani, notes in the show link in the show notes.
Yo, that
That's
like
nice.
net, man. I want to see her use this pen. Look at the. Is it pumpkin gold too?
Well, apparently zooming in just isn't an option.
No.
The pumpkin looks like marker. That's the only. It doesn't look like gold.
I like how it's just.
And then you go to her old stuff, and it suddenly changes to like. She really is going through a phase right now. So, but even the old stuff is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then she did mermaids for a while. They're really affectionate. Oh,
Got some art books.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, check it out.
Nice.
Yoshitani.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Hey Jeff, do you have anyone you?
I mean, as far as like inspiration goes, I don't really have anybody current.
Any Twitch that you want to give a shout out to?
Unfortunately, all the Twitch people that I follow are already big enough. They don't need it, damn it. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the times I'm old, so I was inspired by graffiti.
Yep.
And so whenever I need inspiration, I go back to that and try and look up. I've got graffiti books that I'll look through, and one of my favorite artists is Dame. He's from Germany, and I always look through that stuff to get inspiration. I don't know why, but it really helps me no matter what I'm doing. If I'm doing like a web layout or a logo or some kind of a print media or anything like that, I always go back to graffiti to get inspiration.
Nice. Yeah, the one thing about graffiti I like is there's really no rules.
Yeah.
And you don't have one of these creative directors. I need it to pop.
Well, and there's so much style because, you know, back then, you know, you had to come up with your own persona in your art. And you know, your personality, your flavor, it was all put out there for everyone to see, and you had to differentiate yourself from everyone else. So going back and looking through all these different artists and stuff, you have so much different ideas coming together, and I don't know, it's really cool.
And if you look on my T-shirt, Chicago Hip Hop, one of the cool things is we have Midway Radio, and we've had a couple graffiti artists that are real big in Chicago, and it's funny because I talk to them like, "Oh my God, I love what you do. It's amazing," and they're looking at me like, "What are you talking about? What you do is really cool." So we have this common thing that's happening. I'm like, I don't. You can give me a can and a wall, and I'm way too afraid that the cops are coming. I'm too soft to go to jail.
Yeah. Personal note: I have been chased by cops with a backpack full of spray paint. One of my first video editing jobs. One of my first video editing project was called "Bomb the Fort," and it was on the history of Fort Wayne graffiti.
They got that out there?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, dude. We had a huge team way back.
Indiana.
Second largest city, man. It's a city, not a farm town.
Okay. Go ahead and with your little population of 50.
Yeah. Just because you grew up outside of Chicago or in Chicago don't mean you're Chicago. Quiet. It meant something more in Fort Wayne. You can't hide as many places. You get in trouble, you know.
They'll be like, I know that handwriting.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or they go to the school, or they go to the 15 of the high school. They'll find you.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole video, everyone had to wear like masks and blur faces and all sorts of stuff, just because everybody knows everybody. The biggest little city in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine, like, Jeff puts up some graffiti and his third grade teacher's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, right.
I seen this by my house. This is back behind your house, Jeff. This is that bridge at that park behind your house.
I was a bragger too. Like whenever we hit something,
that's the weird part. You're not supposed to say anything, Jeff.
That's not how you're supposed to do it. not let it go. In my youth.
You're like, I gotta tell people I bombed this.
That's right.
Similarly, and Shiloh, we just got your question. I'm going to answer that here in a second, but I don't know if you guys probably don't know this, but Jack's dad and I are kind of
oh boy,
are kind of pen pals, but on the text messaging. So he'll send me pictures of, hey, look, I just finished shoveling, and I'll take a picture of like the sunshine being like, it sucks because it's really sunny here.
Speaking of small towns.
So Jack's dad sent me a picture of a newspaper article.
Hold up. He straight up sent him a photograph of a newspaper article.
Nice.
That he wrote to the editor about me.
And it says, do you suffer from insanity, lady? He yelled. Of course not. And that's not the wrong.
No, that's a continuation.
So the story goes, the Red Circle mystery, or how Mike Kasperzak stopped at the daycare center to pick up his little nipper.
This is great.
He found Jack carefully sponging the top of a play table. Mike asked him if he was helping to clean that afternoon. With no response from Jack, his teacher said, "Tell your dad why you're cleaning the table." Still no response, but quicker sponging. What happened, the teacher said, is Jack marked the tabletop with his crayons, and he has to clean it. Mike, Jack's dad, considered that fair, yet wondered how the teacher knew it was Jack who made a mess with so many others in the daycare center, in the daycare center room. We knew it was Jack, she said, because he's the only one in class who knows how to make circles.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you, Mike. That happened this morning.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Jack's tagging his daycare. It's good.
Yeah. So we're talking. Jack is doing graffiti, and the teacher recognized him because he's the only one that does circles. Beautiful.
When she yelled at you, did you like drop the crayon and then like thug life it with the sunglasses? And everything?
He had his little Pampers like sagging just a little bit.
Run away and try to jump the wall.
Yeah, freeze framed right there.
So Shiloh asked a question in the chat room, and it says basically, are they putting all of Kyle's brushes into Photoshop? That is another thing that happened that made me realize I spent money for no reason. Yes. If you go to Photoshop right now, you can load up all of Kyle's brushes, and you're wondering, what, probably about 10, 20 of them? No, it's probably about 1,500.
That's insane.
And I paid for most of them.
And I wonder how much he got paid.
He did pretty good, and now
does he work for him?
I don't know. I don't have any information on how much brush makers get paid professionally. I don't know, but
I thought he worked for Adobe now, though.
Yeah,
but that's what I was saying.
Adobe.
How much is brushing in the contract? Yeah,
he's going to continue making brushes specifically for them, but with that, he's bringing all of his brushes with him. And if you are a Creative Cloud member, you get all those brushes for free. You just have to load them up.
So glad I waited. Yes, I got them.
Yeah, and that's a big deal. It's really cool. His brushes are so well done. They're really nice.
What if it was a deal breaker? What if it's like, yo, we need your brushes if you want to work here? Because that sounds like a really good, like, lucrative side job and work at Adobe.
Yeah,
so I'll just make you new ones. No, we want your 1,500 old ones too.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
But I have a gum roll.
Bringing a lot of money.
He did. He's got his money's worth already because he's been making brushes for years now.
I know. Yeah, he's like, oh, you want those old things? Okay, cool. I'll give them to you.
Yeah, right.
We'll throw that into the signing bonus.
Yeah. So Shiloh says, "Wow, crazy." Yeah, Kyle's laughing all the way to the bank, I reckon. I bet you he put his feet up for at least a couple days.
Yeah, he just went on a vacation before he started working again. So I'm gonna go chill, make some brushes.
Yeah,
cool.
So with that being said, hey Jeff, if people are looking for you online, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Mind1TV. You can find me on Instagram at Mind1TV. And I also stream on Twitch at, you guessed it, Mind1TV.
Consistency. And it's Mind, the number 1 TV.
Yes, sir.
What do you stream?
I stream mostly video games. Right now we're playing Destiny 2. Monday nights I wrangle the kids in here, and we have a family night, so they're on stream with me. And then on Saturday nights, I live stream the DJ set from the club. We have a nice little party. It's pretty fun.
Are you pushing toward partnered? Are you getting close?
So I mean, long story short, yes. I had a minor setback. They introduced the affiliate program, so I do have a few subs and some a decent loyal following. But yeah, the ultimate goal is to be partnered and to make it more of a sustainable hobby.
Cool. Nice.
And that, my friends, is why he sounds so damn good. It is set up.
I'm a super nerd. I've got all sorts of stuff going on over here. I probably do it way too big for for what I do, but you know, go big or go home. You know, sound cards and soundboards and cameras and lights and all sorts of. My wife, let me tell you what, my wife loves it. She doesn't. She hates it. She's cool. She's super supportive with it though. So
That's awesome. Hey Charlie, where can people find you?
Find me a couple places. You can find me at my website, cargocollective.com/Charlie B. Williams. You can find me on Instagram is CharlieBW3, Twitter CBW3, Pinterest CharlieBW3. Get it in your life.
Jack, where can people find you?
Apparently scrubbing tables.
Putting in work.
But I'm also at sketchbookjack.com and sketchbookjack on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and most other places.
Check out his circles.
Yes, check out my circles. I mastered them.
dopest circles in the game.
Carlos, if people are looking to find you,
I am Carlos. You can find me at coconutjustice.com and Coconut Justice everywhere else. And I'm going to try to feed off of Jeff's flow. I stream on Twitch too, but it's like playing in Photoshop and animate and stuff like that. So check me out there. And this is Sketch Zone. You can find us at sketch.zone and just go there and you'll see the links for everything else. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter at Sketch Zone. Obviously, we're on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and click the subscribe button because the more subscribers we have, the easier it is for me to convince cool people like Jeff to come on the show.
Gotcha, bitch.
I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that.
And then obviously you can find us on Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, iTunes, pretty much wherever you look for your favorite podcast. We should be there.
yep.
Yes. I think that's it. With that, my friends,
Yeah.
have a wonderful week.
See you guys.
See you guys.